Good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Parish in Concord on this beautiful morning. I'm Reverend Howard Dana, and I want to welcome you to worship this morning. Wherever you are gathering from to be with us, we are glad that you have joined us. The congregation gathers each and every Sunday morning, and you are part of it this morning. Whether you're in and around Concord or somewhere else in the United States or somewhere else in the world, we're glad that you have joined us for this hour. So welcome to church this morning. We are finishing up our three-part series on First Parish in the 20th century. A couple of weeks ago, we looked at the fire in 1900. Last week, we looked at the Unitarians and the Universalists joining in 1961 to form the UUA. And today we look at the About Your Sexuality controversy that came to First Parish. So it's great to do a series on fairly recent history. And this morning, there'll be stories told that people in the congregation still very vividly remember. So welcome to church this morning. If you are someone for whom closed captioning would be a help, you can find that down at the bottom of your screen. Just look through the little box with the CC in it, and you can press that and have a transcript of this service if that's something that would be helpful to you. We're going to go into gallery view if we're not already there, see who else is in the room. I'll just go in the order on my screen. Beth Norton is here this morning.
Good morning. It's great to see all your names popping in and to be gathered with you on this beautiful morning.
Adrian Betancourt is here.
Such a pleasure to be with you all.
Reverend Gary Smith, our Minister Emeritus, is here this morning. Welcome, Gary. We're so glad that you've joined us.
Good morning. It's a treat to be with you, but to be on screen.
Reverend Liz Weber is here.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to church.
Dawn Van Patten in the house.
Good morning on another lovely Sunday.
Reverend Amy Friedman is here.
Good morning. Today we explored with Liz about pastoral care and the ways that we all care for each other, from the youngest to the very oldest. And thank you, Liz, for being a part of that this morning.
Jade Sylvan is our ministerial intern this year.
Good morning, everybody, on this very hot day.
Reverend Liz Weber is here with a snazzy new haircut.
Good morning, everybody.
And last but not least, Lily van der Zanden doing tech for us. Thank you, Lily.
Good morning, everybody. Great to be here.
This morning, I've chosen a call to worship from Mark Morrison Reed, who is a colleague of mine. He says, the central task of the religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. It is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed. Let us worship together. And Jade's going to have us light our chalices.
As Unitarian Universalists, we start our services by lighting a chalice or a candle together. One flame represents all flames, so as you have one at home, you might light a chalice with me and imagine that all of our flames are burning together in one great blaze of love and justice. Please join me in reciting the First Parish chalice lighting. O flame of our faith, open our hearts and fill our bodies and souls with persistent strength, enliven our spirits, and engage us deeply in this life of ours, this sacred essential moment now.
Thank you, Beth. Good morning. Here we are. We're coming to the end of May. It's spring, summer's on the horizon, and the school year is coming to a close. And it's graduation season. Every year around this time, we recognize and celebrate our First Parish graduating high school seniors in a Sunday service. And every year it brings me great joy to mark this milestone. This year, I'm feeling especially excited to celebrate our graduates. It has been a year like no other. Remote learning, social distancing, masking up, we all know the challenges. And recognizing and celebrating the class of 2021 feels momentous. They're at the end of the school year, on the other side of their high school experience, and it's starting to feel like we might be getting to the other side of the pandemic. They've made it through. And graduation ceremonies are often called commencement, and I used to find this incredibly confusing, and so much so that my brain would stop me before the word came out, because I'd think, well, graduation is the end of school, but commencement means beginning. So are you sure that's the word you want? And I realized that the ceremony is the ceremony around graduation. We call it commencement. It's not the celebration of an ending. It's the celebration of a new beginning. The focus is on the future and not the past. Our endings and beginnings, they hold a very special place in our complex and messy lives. Our endings and our beginnings, well, that's living. Celebrating our endings and our beginnings, especially in community, helps us reflect on the past and make room to imagine the future. Letting go of the past, moving into the future, well, it can feel exhilarating and terrifying. You can feel loss and sadness and excitement and joy. It's a whole mess of things. Class of 2021, your graduation from high school is a big commencement. But you've done this before, and you'll do it again. This is one of many commencements in your life, many starts and beginnings. You'll start projects, jobs, adventures, relationships, maybe parenthood. You are commencing. We are all commencing. Each day is a commencement. Graduates, in this sacred essential moment now, your First Parish family is here, recognizing you, celebrating you, wishing so very much for you, and holding you in love. You will always have a spiritual home at First Parish, a place to celebrate your beginnings and your endings. We'll always be here. And Lily, I'm going to ask if you would share the slide, the picture of our graduates. So congregation, would you please join me in congratulating the class of 2021? Amaya, Catherine, Toby, Luca, Najia, Peter, Ella, Lexi, Ashley, Sam, Simone, and Anna. You'll find more details about the graduates and their plans for the future in the chat. Class of 2021, congratulations on your graduation. Let the commencing commence.
Let's commence singing. Let us open our eyes. Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to seek what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another, and may we walk in peace.
Thank you, Beth. Let us listen now to a brief summary of the About Your Sexuality controversy at First Parish. This is something that I put together from web searches, from a sermon that Diane Rollert gave, and from some other sources. So here's my attempt at a summary of what happened. Unitarian Universalist congregations have taught human sexuality for many years. Our commitment to educating our children and youth about their growing and changing bodies has included teaching them sexual health. Our churches have equipped whole generations of young people to navigate relationships better. Of this, we can be very proud. Today, we look at a bump in the road of sexuality education that happened at First Parish in Concord. In 1998, a number of events coincided to bring our congregation's sexuality education squarely into the public eye and not in a flattering way. Prior to Our Whole Lives, or OWL as we call it, the UUA's current sexuality program coexisted and co-developed with the United Church of Christ. The curriculum was known as About Your Sexuality, AYS. As these curricula do, AYS had a shelf life, and in 1998, it was beyond that shelf life. But the new curriculum was not developed yet. Featuring film strips with photos of people in various sexual positions, AYS had a distinctly dated feel. Many churches were using it in a modified form, but it was ready to be replaced. As Diane Rollert, then DRE at First Parish, said, "For a series of complex reasons, we had failed to show these film strips to all the parents prior to the program starting. We had made a mistake, but by the time we rectified the situation, it was too late. The class went ahead, but some parents were not happy. Word got out around town, and the program was the subject of much gossip. Then it got national attention." Diane Rollert remembers, "That summer, we got word that a new television news program called Public Eye, hosted by Bryant Gumbel, had decided that a story involving a church, sex, and teens was the perfect foil for raising their ratings and viewership. Hello, 15 minutes of infamy." The response to this sensational report was that First Parish needed to defend its choice to offer sexuality education to its youth. Through a number of meetings, the congregation had the opportunity to review the program and to discuss it. Our commitment held. Young and old church members alike rallied to speak to the press in favor of AYS. The controversy proved to be short-lived. When the Bill Clinton impeachment trial started, it faded away. Ironically, First Parish actually attracted new members from all the publicity it got about teaching AYS. Diane Rollert concludes, "We grew and strengthened as a community, and our children reaped the benefits. Today, we use Our Whole Lives at various grade levels. It is one of the cornerstones of our religious exploration program." I'd like to invite into the conversation now Reverend Gary Smith and Reverend Amy Friedman. Thanks for being here. Gary, I want to go to you first. You were there, you lived through all of this, and I know that this was a difficult and somewhat painful chapter in your ministry. I'm wondering, what was it like to have controversy thrust upon the congregation in such a sensational way?
I can remember preaching a sermon that fall, an open letter to the Vanderbilt Divinity School, where I had gone to seminary, and saying to them, "You never taught me anything about what to do now." And I would say I just am a conflict avoider. That was uncomfortable. It was hard on the kids, I think, because the program brings up a lot of vulnerabilities, and to have that be in the spotlight was tough. But as you mentioned, Howard, the support from the First Parish community, I remember a special congregational meeting in the parish hall, and it was a huge turnout for this, and people spoke. And I remember most Debbie Greeley. Debbie was the widow of my predecessor. And frankly, when she spoke, people listened to her. And she got up and said how much she supported the program. She said very candidly what a difference it would have made in her generation of women if they had had that kind of education. And I can remember her writing a check on the spot to be given to the youth group because she wanted to say to them, I love you and I support you. It was moments like that, I think, that buoyed me and kept things going.
And do you have a sense, how did the congregation grow from this? And how did you personally grow from this as a minister?
I think I personally grew in needing to confront conflict better. I was in my 10th year of ministry here. I was in 2 years going to be president of our Continental Ministers Association. I just needed to be more honest with myself, and that's where I grew. I can remember saying in that fall that if there were people in the congregation who had hesitated about signing the membership book, this would be a really good time to do that. And if you look back in the records, you'll see in 1998, we got a lot of new members that fall. People stood behind us.
And other than new members and your own growth, what unexpected blessings came from this difficult time?
Well, I do think it was the generational coming together of this congregation really rallying to support not only the RE program, but those young people in particular that were in the class that year. I think that, I think that it was tough because in 1998, those letters to the editor in the Concord Journal, some of those are pretty tough. If you go back and look at them, we got called a lot of names. But at the same time, we got a lot of support from the community. I was able to I was president of the Concord Rotary Club that year. And so these were leaders in town who knew me and came to our support. A very amusing letter in the Concord Journal in which not a member of First Parish, but someone else facetiously suggested that if people objected to AYS at First Parish, they should declare all of Concord Center sex-free. And the writer said how tough that would be on the squirrels. I just remember that letter. So there was humor in this too. But there's no question that we grew, not necessarily in numbers, but we grew in a commitment to what the institution was.
Thank you. I want to turn now to Amy. What role does OWL play in our current RE program?
First of all, I want to thank you, Gary. It's good to hear the background of that. And as a lifelong UU, I was very aware of that controversy. And so it became interesting to know I would be serving this congregation and knowing that it is a part of our commitment to our community to continue this program. So during this pandemic, the UUA actually discouraged holding Our Whole Lives because the curriculum was developed for an in-person educational experience. But because we have been providing this program going way back consistently year after year, we made a decision as a program that we did not want to take a break from this. In fact, we felt that the values that Our Whole Lives teaches was even more important, not only in relationships, but in the self-worth that it teaches. And so we are so lucky we have very committed facilitators. So Laura Venesey is a very experienced public health educator. And so we actually asked her to help us to provide this program online. And we did that all through the pandemic. So we had 33 participants in our program, a group of sixth graders in the fall, a group of fifth graders in the spring, and a group of 8th and 9th graders all year long, because that is so important to who we are.
And Amy, what if teens told you about what they value about OWL?
sometimes I think it's a bonding experience, because when they get to coming of age, you're like, do you remember those? Now it's a slideshow. It's not the film strips. They're very more artistically drawn pictures. But I do think there's a certain bonding that goes along with the cringing of, dealing with those watching those images. But there's more than that. I know that what they learn is a sense of trust, that they can bring big questions into their religious community, and that there are adults that will give them straight answers, accurate information, and will accept wherever they are in their journey. And now, of course, we continue to learn. I was thinking about your reading, Howard, about how it had become dated. There are parts of OWL now that is dated, and they're continuing to expand our understanding of gender to include more information about cyber safety, which was not something that was a part of the original curriculum. And so bringing these issues that people find hard to talk about into our religious community is very powerful and transformative.
And what have parents told you they value about OWL?
Well, I am so glad that parents come to us and are really excited to have their children be a part of this program. It is a commitment. And one thing that we learned from the controversy was that we need to be very clear about what it is we are teaching, and they need to sign a consent form as well as being informed about all those things. But we also educate them that they are their children's primary sexuality educator. We are teaching and supporting their kids on their journey, but it's the parents that need to be askable. So part of the orientation is to talk to parents about their journey and what they were taught or not taught in their growing up, and how would they like that to be different for their children. And that is always a very powerful revelation. And we have that conversation too, for parents to recognize how important it is to be askable about the things that matter in their children's identity, but also in the choices that they're going to make moving forward.
And lastly, how might we strengthen our commitment to sexuality education at First Parish?
Ooh, I think it's pretty strong, but I was already, every time we offer the program, people come to us from outside the community. But I do think, Howard, I was really glad that you wanted to tell this story, because I'm very proud of who we are. And I do think we could be in the news more about the fact that this is a place where we can talk about these issues. Because the more that we can talk about sexuality and relationships and responsibility, the more that we can embody justice and inclusivity, the more positive our world will be.
Thank you. I want to thank Gary Smith and Amy Friedman, and I want to leave the congregation with a question, as we do in these Zoom services. Take a moment and write a short answer, because remember, if you write the long answers, I can't read them. So if you want it spoken during the service, it needs to be a short answer. How does First Parish's commitment to sexuality education align with your values? And Lily will put up the question there. How does First Parish's commitment to sexuality education align with your values? And then I'll read a few of those after Beth plays some music. there's lots of energy around that. I noticed there was even some energy as we were talking. Let's see what's here. Openness and honesty, inclusivity, a most expansive definition of humans and love, open and inclusive. Information is empowering, science is real. Respectful and kind. Teaching the truth to children approaching adulthood. Valuing the worth and dignity of all. Lots of integrity and honesty listed here. Acceptance for all. Sexuality encompasses spiritual values as well as personal ones. Acknowledging the elephants, making friends with them if possible. Learning is sacred, all learning. Proactive, demystified, kind, and positive. These are all the things we believe in. Accurate scientific information is important. Knowing truth gives power. The program bonded the youth in the church. So many more. Take a look at those when you get a chance. And now let us hear from the First Parish Gospel Choir.
All of us are loved, each of us is welcome. No one is a stranger, no one is an outcast, no one is alone. Everything we do, when our hearts are grateful and our lives are faithful, makes a better world, one that we can call everybody's home.
Juntas por amor, cada alguien precioso. Nadie hace un extraño, nadie hace invocado, nadie hace calor. Cada paso bien, con virtud y gozo. Estamos construyendo un mundo mejor, llenos de color, como un amor.
Together with love, everyone is precious. No one is a stranger, no one asks for food, no one asks for warmth. Every step in faith, with virtue and joy, we are keeping building, build a better world, one that we can call a world full of peace.
All of us are loved.
Each week, we come together partly to remember that all of us are loved, all of us worthy of love, and of having a space to share our lives with one another, to be held in love. You are welcome at any time to reach out to me or any of our ministers, any of our pastoral care team, if you could use a little more love, a little more support. And if you would like that, any milestone, whether happy or sad or a little bit of both, to be shared in community, just let us know and we'll include you in that week's prayer time. You'll see in the Zoom chat the full list for this week, but right now we're holding Elizabeth T. and Jeff G. in our hearts as they grieve for Elizabeth's dear friend. And we're holding Kate H. as she grieves for her husband. Wonder who else you are holding in your heart, who is who you would like to hold in prayer, in meditation, on your own and in community. You can call their name aloud or type it into the chat. and know that we hold one another and we hold our wider world in prayer and in care together. I invite you to call and type those names now. And as you keep those names coming, we can sing together, Spirit of Life, and enter into a time of prayer. We offer this prayer for all who are grieving, especially for Elizabeth, Jeff, and Kate. May you find a balm of comfort and peace. We offer this prayer for all who are ill or injured. May you heal well and be held by gentle hands. We offer this prayer for all who are celebrating happy transitions, especially our graduates. May you take pride in your accomplishments. And we offer this prayer for our shared mission as Unitarian Universalists. May we be steadfast in our commitment to our values of love and justice, from our wider world to our own bodies. We continue our prayer with this blessing for bodies from Reverend Nancy Schaefer. May we, creatures of bone and tissue, know our bodies well, the fourth rib and how it rises higher than the third, not so high as fifth, how it feels to the thumb slowly traced, and under it how the heart rests. May we know that space where no ribs lie, and unshielded we bend. May we know the bottom of each toe, and that tender arch where no skin touches ground. Also, skin smoothed soft by clothing. May we know the quick curve of the head before it sits on the spine, and that tiny hollow just behind the ear, the length of forearm lifting food to lips, and how lips become a circle waiting. And knowing this, cease our study of war. Amen, and blessed be. Let us keep a moment of stillness together.
For our Share the Plate today, we are fortunate to have the brand new Executive Director of Concord Prison Outreach, who is Sam Williams. And Sam Williams is actually here with us right now in the service and will be available at coffee hour if you'd like to meet with him or have any questions or would like to converse. So welcome, Sam.
Good morning. My name is Liz Rust, and I'm here this morning as both a First Parish member and a board member of Concord Prison Outreach, our Share the Plate recipient for May. I'm happy to introduce Sam Williams, our Executive Director, who will introduce the Share the Plate offering this morning. Take it away, Sam.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sam Williams, and I'm the new Executive Director for Concord Prison Outreach. Concord Prison Outreach recruits and trains volunteers to provide educational services in aid of the Department of Correction facilities. We believe in the worth and dignity of every human being. We believe that providing educational programs to men and women in prison can act as a catalyst for social change and personal transformation. One of our newest programs being launched this spring is the Young Fathers Unit in MCI Concord. The Young Fathers model has been piloted in several other facilities across the state. The program is designed to work with young men 18 to 24 years old, and it will offer a mentoring, basic education, restorative justice, financial literacy, parenting skills, life skills, and workforce development preparation. Over the next 6 months, we'll be engaging volunteers in various ways. Our weekly book groups, community dialogues around race, public health conversations, and administering program surveys. We value the feedback of all of our stakeholders. We're committed to making program evaluation a standard part of our work. By enhancing the quality of our services, we will ensure that our programs are relevant to the needs of our participants and aligned with our mission. Lastly, we will be focusing on several agency-based projects relating to strengthening our infrastructure and capacity in fundraising, marketing, and program evaluation. We'll begin this work by first implementing a centralized database system during the months of July and August to improve our data collection, reporting, and program outcomes. Our long-term goal is to be an evidence-based agency that demonstrates the impact of our work. I'm excited to have joined the CPO staff team, and I'd love to extend a great big thanks to the First Parish of Concord for your long-standing support of CPO. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Sam, and welcome to our service. Lots of wonderful volunteer opportunities with CPO. You can ask him or Liz Rust or Dawn Miller. And now is your opportunity to contribute to both the good work of First Parish in Concord and to Concord Prison Outreach. So you're going to see a number on your screen, and that will allow you to text your donation if you like. Just text a whole number, 20, 50, 100, or you can go online to our website and use the donation page there. You can also mail in a postal check. Your donations are now very gratefully received.
Thank you, Eric, for the beautiful music. As we begin to close our service, there is a lot going on in the life of First Parish in Concord, and I want to mention a few things to you. The very best way to keep up on everything that's going on is our weekly email, FP Weekly. If you are not receiving that or would like to sign up for that, please just contact Sarah Burns in the First Parish office. You can email her at sburns@firstparish.org. First Parish Weekly has got lots of Zoom links in it. It's got all the information. It's a great way to find out what's going on. You can also follow us on Facebook or on YouTube as well. Each Sunday morning from 9 to 9:30, there's the First Parish Family RE Connect. It's a live Zoom meeting and a great place for parents and children. Just see Dawn or Amy if you'd like more information about that or to be able to come to that. We are thinking about the fall, and we are thinking about how, once it's possible, to reopen and in what order. And there are going to be a series of community conversations that will be happening in the next few weeks about that. This is a chance for you to just think with the rest of us about what that's going to look like and imagine us coming back together in person in whatever way we can. There will be more information about those in FP Weekly. We are going to do flower communion again, just the way we did it last year. Last year, a bunch of you sent in wonderful photos of you holding flowers. We'd love to have even more this year. So if you didn't get to it last year, or if you want to send another one in this year, just take a picture of yourself holding a flower. It's that easy, and we will weave that into our flower communion service on Father's Day. That same day, Sunday, June 20th, immediately after the service will be the First Parish annual meeting. This is a very important meeting for all members of the church, Lots of important decisions are made at that meeting, including the budget for next year and the election of standing committee members. So please plan to stay longer on Father's Day on June 20th for the annual meeting, and we'll see if we can have it done in an hour or an hour and a half. Right after this service, if you are interested in the worship sharing circle, it will begin as soon as we are done. It's a chance to talk about the themes of the service with a smaller group of folks. There will be a link in the chat. We also know that our walls have expanded during this past online year to include people we've never been able to meet in person. If you have been attending First Parish in Concord worship services and you're interested in learning more about our church and what it means to be a member and how to become a member of First Parish, you're invited to join our after service meeting today. There will be a link in the chat. This will be a brief informational conversational meeting to give newcomers a chance to get to know us a little bit better and to get some questions answered and to learn about becoming a member. There are a couple folks who will be there and they'd love to have you join that. If you're not available today, there will be 2 more informational meetings, one at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, June 9th, and one on Sunday, June 13th after the church service as well. And lastly, Jim Hawks is here from our standing committee. Please say hi, Jim, and welcome folks to the online coffee hour.
Hello there. I'm Jim Hawks, First Parish Church. We've been hibernating too long. The flowers, the trees, the birds, the animals understand this. It's time to get outside and enjoy the wonder. I look forward to seeing you at coffee hour.
Thank you, Jim. There will be a link to the coffee hour in the chat, and it will finish as well by 11:30 a.m. Let us join Beth in singing our closing song.
Shelley Jackson Denham was a UU composer and singer who was strongly committed to the youth in our movement. And she wrote this really beautiful song with compassion, acceptance, and commitment as cornerstones of our intergenerational religious community. So I'd love to have you join me in singing this song, which is one of my favorites, When I Am Frightened. The words are coming up right now. Will you reassure me when I'm uncertain? Will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give. When I am troubled, will you listen to me?
Thank you, Beth. Our bodies are an amazing, beautiful, wonderful creation, as is sexuality. The fact that we human beings can understand who we are and how we function all our lives is a great gift. And it is a gift that belongs in the religious conversation too. Ours is a church that embraces our whole lives in all ways. And for that, we are very, very grateful. Please join in the First Parish benediction. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings.